If you have any issues finding that, just go to your app and contact customer service. So sorry if you didn't find that. But so good morning, everyone. My name is Matt McHale, otherwise known as Matt GPT, here live on Clubhouse. I'm also streaming out to my YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. This is when I do my weekly update on all things AI. So welcome. So I'm going to do a little room reset here on Clubhouse. I'm actually going to have my boy G do it. So let me kick it over to him. We'll do a room reset, and I will get going.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Breakfast with Champions. We are live on Clubhouse starting at 4 a.m. Eastern with our expert hosts who provide motivation, education, and inspiration to help you live your best life and grow your business. Be sure to continue the conversation with us on the Facebook page. Good morning, Matt. How are you? I always hear about how humans are worried about AI taking over and what will happen. Since the last time we spoke, there has been an attempted assassination and a sitting president has pulled out of the race. CrowdStrike did an update that shut down businesses and airlines, causing issues for millions. I have to ask, will AI be the issue or will it be the people behind it?
Gee, that is a very profound question. It reminds me of the quote, we have seen the enemy and it is us. And the reason why G asked that question, because he's so smart, knows everything. Well, one of the first things I want to talk about is OpenAI has ranked their progress towards human level problem solving. So that is ultimately where they want to be and where they want to get in their quest for generative AI. And they have put it around into 5 different levels. So level 1, we have the chatbots, AI with conversational language, most people are familiar with at this point, and have either used or have heard about it. Level 2 is reasoners, human level problem solving. Obviously, the large language models have conquered that as well. We hear all the time with the MCATs, LSATs, all these different tests, all these different things that they have put AI to the test and has passed with flying colors. So going through doing reasoning and human level problem solving, it hasn't been able to do that with the data that has been added to the large language models. Level 3, and this is what we're starting to see, and I've talked about this before, agents, systems that can take actions. So as opposed to just going into a chat bot or something where you're typing in a question, you're asking it, you're getting the information, you're getting the answer, and you have to have a conversation go back and forth to try to maybe complete the full task or get really the full information that you want. An agent is going to be a system that's going to be able to complete this action that will have multiple tasks within it. So it will be logically going from task to complete the action that you have asked it to do. So that's what the agents are going to be. That's really where these systems are heading now, is trying to do more complex, add multiple tasks and get things done. And that's really when it can become more useful to obviously everyday life and businesses and actually doing those things. So level 4 is innovators, AI that can aid in invention. So the one thing I talk about a lot right now is AI doesn't have the creativity. It doesn't have, we put in the information, we have to extract that information, we have to work on it to figure these things out. So it's not really innovating anything. It's just spitting out the information that's been given. It's doing it in a pretty amazing way, and it's allowing for us to work with these systems and to do things that we couldn't do before or do these things faster. So all that is great. But level 4 is actually having the AI innovate on its own, be able to take all the information it has and build, be more creative, build these things out of that without being given the information. And then level 5 will be organizations, AI that can do the work of an entire organization, that can take over an entire, I don't know, say company, but a full organization of doing things that will involve all these agents, all these mini agents, all these things, these tasks that will go through, and that will be true self-aware AI, the generative AI, the things that we're looking at now, that next level. So OpenAI has done a pretty good job of mapping this out. And you can go, click on the link I have, I'm sharing on here. on Clubhouse, or I'm going to have this updated later where I post these videos, and you'll be able to click on that and read a little more and go into that. And I think this helps you understand where they are trying to go, what they're thinking, and where that fits in with you, or where you look at it. I do this all the time, and I talk about wanting to encourage people to take advantage of AI, to take advantage of all these things that are out there, and figure out a way to make it work, either for you personally or your business or both now, and how you can hopefully grow with it and use it to build your business or improve yourself, whatever it is. Staying in the world of open AI, they had a big announcement with GPT-4o Mini.
I shall call him Mini-Me.
So it was, this was a nice announcement. It wasn't the biggest announcement they ever made, but if you're using it, especially if you're using it for API, and you're using it, to integrate into your systems, I see where this is going to be very useful in those worlds, because it's about 60% cheaper than the 3.5 turbo is. So a lot of people are using this, so if you're not familiar with API, you're able to integrate your systems, use ChatGPT as the back end, and you're able to go through this and do that. So it's smaller, less expensive than the full-size GPT models. It's more capable than 3.5. So less expensive, more capable, outperforms other leading AI models in speed, cost efficiency, intelligence. It scored an 82% on the MMLU benchmark, surpassing Gemini 1.5, which had a 75%, and Claude 3 Haiku, which is 75%. That's their smaller model. So they all now have smaller models, these models that are quicker, faster, and can do this, but they also keep up with the usability and be able to use it. Like I said, it's 60% cheaper, twice as fast as 3.5. So, for the most part, the people I've heard most excited, again, are people that are using it in their systems. They're integrating into the API into their systems. Obviously, it's going to cost them a lot less money to do that, so it makes their systems more affordable, and their systems can be a lot faster. So it's available for developers, and it's going to replace 3.5 for general use eventually. So if you're using the free version, you're using that. The GPT Mini 4.0 Mini, man, they got to come up with better names for this stuff. We'll be taking over for that. So also in the world of OpenAI, they're working on a new reasoning technology, codename Strawberry. As I said, they have to come up with better names for this stuff. But this is, there's not a lot of information out right now, but it's starting to leak out a little bit here and there. So they have tested this internally, and it scored 90% on a math data set, which is a benchmark of championship math problems. So going back to their 5 steps, and one of those things is kind of reasoning, going through this thing, and being able to do these learning problems and solving these things. It can navigate the internet autonomously. So you can go around and look through the internet and go through those things. And I'm not going to get into that. So I think there's some things of lawsuits and everything there that they have that, but performs deep research independently. So this kind of goes back into that agent world of doing some things independently, putting it out there and saying, hey, I want to do this. And now it's going and doing this deep research, which really would involve multiple tasks to be able to do that, find the research, doing it, finding maybe multiple sources, taking the information back, working with it. So solves complex problems without user prompting. So again, another agent side of things, likely to produce fewer hallucinations than models like GPT. So hallucinations are basically just errors. That's a fancy way of saying that they screwed something up or made something up. So we're looking at fewer hallucinations, which is always good. Enhanced accuracy due to its ability to conduct the deep research. It's believed to use self-taught reasoner, the STAR method. So we'll see the self-taught and going through that. I talked about Google or the Gemini using the Google to add more voices to it. So it's kind of using itself to add more voices. So they're adding 80 more languages, adding 80 more languages in there. So it's using its own information to add more languages to itself. So To me, that really falls under the self-taught. Learns from its own reasoning to improve itself. So now it's not only looking at the data that's put in there and what it can do with it, but now it's going back and looking at these things and being able to improve itself and improve its answers and improve the way it works with that, and could potentially surpass human intelligence over time. So this is really, I think with the announcing of the 5 levels and how they look at things, and then kind of leaking Strawberry out, I think this is the way they're kind of really announcing this and letting the world know that they're very close to pulling this off and getting those things out there. And I've talked before, I think they were always closer than a lot of people thought, and a lot of people think they already have it and it's just there, and they're just taking their time and slowly leaking it out there and making sure they're going through and testing it as much as possible, so there are not issues. So that's Strawberry. Again, they got to come up with a better name. One last thing in the world of OpenAI. No, I lied. 2 more things in the world of OpenAI. Sora they had now the Sora showcase. You can go to their YouTube. If you go to YouTube and OpenAI's channel, they have showcased a number of different videos created with Sora. So I'm playing one on my screen right now. If you're watching me, this is all created with Sora, AI generated videos. So still questions around when this will really roll out for the public. And even if it will, there's a lot of talk about before it is available for the public, for Hollywood and other larger corporations to have access and use it for things. I'm going to talk to, when this first was announced, Tyler Perry was building this $8 million studio and completely halted building it and wanting to look into things like Sora to see, hey, can I not build a studio, or can I change it a little bit and use tools like this moving forward. So it'll be interesting to see when this actually comes out and actually rolls out and people start using it. But the video I'm playing now is pretty amazing. If we look at, I look at like the hands, the feet, the little details that have always been the issues with these things, and just kind of the way they move and flow. And they're showing a woman walking in a dress, and the dress is flowing and while they're walking along. So it's really come a long way, even since they first announced it and it was pretty amazing then. I think it was a little more controlled, showing the videos that they wanted to, but now they've uploaded multiple videos onto their YouTube channel. So I encourage you to go on there and check that out. So one last thing here. Did they update DALL-E? And I think they did, because in the past, when you would want to have an image or something from DALL-E and you're putting words in there, it didn't work out very well, and you had to pull it in and use another program to manipulate it. So I did one real quick and went in and again, if you're looking at my screen, you can see this. If you're on Clubhouse, you can click on that link at the top and you'll see the images. The first image shows, I put in, show me a futuristic robot holding a sign that says "The Week in AI" with MattGPT. So the first one shows the week in AI with MattGPT, and it kind of seemed like one of those little tests that you show people the sign and they don't actually read with twice, and you say, "What's wrong with this?" And it takes a while for them to do it, because it took me a minute to realize there was 2 withs in there. But the other thing was it had the neon around AI, and it actually made the eye look a little bit like a T. So I actually pulled that into Adobe and used generative AI in Adobe to quickly remove the extra width and modify the eye to make it look more like an eye. But overall, it was much better than it has been in the past. And I'm sure if I worked a little longer in there, I could have modified it in there. But I just wanted to cheat and pull it into Adobe, because I know I can do it quicker there using their generative AI, the generative fill that's available in Adobe Photoshop. So that they definitely have made some updates or just overall improvements, but just by people using it, I'm not sure, because they didn't really make an announcement on that. But much better now. So if you try to use that in the past, we're unhappy, go back and check it out. So this is interesting. Meta pulls a plug on release of advanced AI model in the EU. And this is something, we continue to talk about and continue to talk about regulations, and EU has been a little more forward with the regulations around AI. In the U.S., they've been a little more cautious, trying to figure these things out and trying to understand before they make any kind of regulations. There will be something, I'm sure, similar to the EU model in the U.S. at some point, probably sooner than later. But at this point, because of the political season we're in, probably won't see anything until next year, until after the presidential election. But you're going to see something around that, But it's kind of like GDPR that they have in the EU. We have not adopted that in the U.S. I don't think we will ever go to that level, but there has obviously been updates, and even companies like Google making their own updates to email and things that trying to put a little more regulation and things in there that'll make it easier for the users to not get spam and all those things all the time. But it's very interesting that Meta has decided not to release their advanced model in the EU, and will other companies follow? And if enough of that happens, will the EU make changes in their regulations? Because obviously that hurts businesses. That hurts businesses who want to be able to use these more advanced versions of AI. So it'll be interesting to kind of follow that and see. Along with that, I talk about all the time, if you have a company using AI and especially larger companies, please get them in contact with me. I work with companies that, they should be looking at things like NIST and ISO 42001. NIST will just give overall, test out their processes and everything they use within that, because if companies, your employees are using AI right now, whether you know it or not, whether they're admitting it or not, they're using it to some extent, which for me is totally fine. I think they should be, but you also have to have a process around it. You have to have some of these, put up guardrails, so to speak, around it, and doing things like a NIST audit, and looking at ISO 42001 for actually systems. If you're going to use a system and you have the API from OpenAI, you're developing your own internal AI system, you absolutely have to do something like that. So I'm working with companies to help them with that now. So put them in touch with me, and I'll be happy to talk to them about that. But we'll see more and more in the regulations world. So for the U.S. right now, it's a nice to have, but at some point it's going to be a have to have. A couple things in the world of Android. Since I'm an iPhone user, I don't talk about Android as much, and I should, because they're a little more forward thinking when it comes to AI. But Claude has dropped an Android app now, so you are able to use Claude on your Android phone. So it's a multi-platform support. So now they do on the web, iOS, and now with Android. They have vision capabilities, so take new pictures, upload files, real-time analysis, multilingual processing, advanced reasoning, all the things that if you've used it on the iPhone is now available on Android. I talk all the time when my go-to is usually Claude or the large language models when I'm working on, even just asking simple questions. But if I'm working, especially in the marketing world, I'm trying to write copy, those things, I use Claude more than anything else at this point. So if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and do that. Download the app. App is great. So you can do that no matter what phone you have now. Something else in the world of Android, Gemini now answers general questions when your Android phone is locked. So you can have your phone on lock and be able to integrate directly into Gemini, obviously, which is, again, an advantage for Android users, and why it's a little more forward thinking with that. The way the iOS is set up there, or the operating system, iOS is Mac, but the way the operating system is, it allows more for this, and obviously Gemini built more into it. And now from your lock screen, you can be able to ask questions directly to Gemini and go through that. So announcing Google Vids. So if you're a Google Docs user or a Google, Google Workspace overall, they have Google Vids now. This is really good. So if you want to set up presentations, if you want to make announcements, do things, you're able to do this. It allows you to kind of set this up and to build the video right in there. You can use your own voice for narrating, or it has built-in voices. So and you're able to, it has a whole bunch of stock royalty-free stock content in the library. So you can build up a video all around an announcement or something, a company for internally for using that. We're going to put that together. You can do that and integrate it directly into on any of your Google tools that you're using to allow that. So If you're a Google user, check it out. I used it a little bit, and it's a really good system, very easy to use, and that should be good. If you are a YouTube user, or if you have a YouTube channel, I should say, they might have used your YouTube channel to train AI. So apparently, Apple, NVIDIA, Anthropic, and others use thousands of swiped YouTube videos to train AI. And this is something we talk about all the time because information is out there, available to everyone. Obviously, it's available to AI, and there's a number of lawsuits that OpenAI is going through from the New York Times and others because of the way they used the information. And I talk about all the time that's the large language models. Their biggest issue is finding us information. So apparently, all these companies have taken YouTube videos and used it to train their system. So not only the information within it, obviously you can extract that. You can use AI to extract from all the text within any video and transcribe it, and then you have all that information, but also the video themselves and using it to make their video systems better and continue to do that. So that is something that continues to be an issue for people, and the question goes back and forth: can they do this? Can they not do this? It's tough. There's no answer to that. The information is out there, and they're trying to train the system. So since it's publicly available, what right do you have to stop that? And that's why you have court cases and everything else. Microsoft Designer, now powered by AI, and this is it's a new within your Microsoft account, and it should be available to you. It's generally available, so you should have it. It'll integrate with Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Photos. Works in 80 different languages, so it offers tools like prompt templates, custom stickers, greeting cards, advanced photo editing, background replacement, image framing. So now within your Microsoft products, you're able to use the Microsoft Designer. So go check that out. Going back to regulations in the U.S., one thing they are doing is trying to protect artists, protect more the consumer. So they're more on that side of it. So new Senate bill is seeking to protect artists and journalists from their content being abused. So just like we just talked about with the YouTube, the Copied Act was introduced, and it's going to hopefully protect that and identify the AI generated material. So once you do that and use that, it'll identify if it is AI generated. Amazon's AI shopping assistant now goes live for everyone. So if you have your Amazon app, you may have seen it. You go down lower right hand corner of it, you'll see Rufus. And again, I'm not making these names up. These are the names they're giving them. So Rufus is available in your AI app now, and it's been trained on Amazon's product catalog, so it helps with customer reviews, community Q&A. It has publicly quote unquote available information. They haven't clarified whether that data means from other retail sites or just within Amazon, but it has gone under extensive testing since its limited launch in February. Now is available to everyone, so go check out Rufus when you get a chance. A ex-user, Kevin Bankston, said, just pulled up my tax return in Google Docs, and Gemini summarized it. So Gemini is automatically ingesting even the private docs I open in Google Docs. WTF, guys. I didn't ask for this. Now I have to go find settings. I was never told about how to turn this crap off. So I talk about this a lot with large language models. If you're using it and you're putting information in there, it's going to be out there in the public. So just be careful. Obviously, didn't really think of it that way. And I haven't really looked into that. People are like wondering if this really happened or this is a one-off. But if you open something in Google Docs, and obviously Gemini is fully integrated into the Google suite. So once they open that, all of a sudden his tax information is available. And once it's on the large language model, it is publicly available to everyone who uses that model. So now we can all go look up Kevin Bankston's tax information if we want to within Gemini. So again, be careful, be diligent in using this. He said he can't find a way to turn it off. I started to look into it. I didn't spend a lot of time with it, but I'm gonna go find out and do a follow-up on this to see if there is a way to turn that off, because obviously that could be a big issue for people. Menlo Ventures and Anthropic. So Claude was talking about, that's Anthropic. That's their system. They team up on $100 million AI fund. So they're going to open this up for to be, if you want to be a part of this fund, they're opening this up, and you're able to go ahead and there's a link on there. So they have a link to apply for it. So if you have an AI system, something you're building towards, and you want to be part of this fund, you're able to click on that, fill out all the information, and apply to be part of the Menlo Ventures fund that will have $100 million available for AI companies. Last story here, because I always get people asking me about this, because I've been talking about NVIDIA since I started, and people are asking kind of where things are at. So they are, getting a price target hikes as shares test key support level. Obviously, last week the stock market dropped because of different things that were going on in the world, the news, and now it's starting to kind of come back up a little bit. But looking at NVIDIA, analysts are looking at an increased price targets for NVIDIA following their very strong Q3 earnings. Notably, Goldman Sachs raised its target to $625, JP Morgan to $650, and Bank of America to $700, driven by the robust demand AI servers and improved GPU supply chains. So NVIDIA reported record revenues of $18.12 billion for Q3, a 34% increase from Q2, with data center revenue hitting $14.51 billion, and that's a 41% rise from the previous quarter. GAAP earnings per share also saw a significant jump to $3.71. So that's how the market is continuing to react to NVIDIA and the things that are going on. They still have some issues with the restrictions to China, even though I talked about even with the restrictions, I talked about this last week, they made about $12 billion. So they still have, they're still making money there through different ways of doing that, but they're still limited because of some of the restrictions that are going on there. But overall, people are optimistic about NVIDIA's growth. So again, not a financial guy. I'm not telling you to invest in anybody. I'm just sharing information out there. And NVIDIA is one of the ones I get questioned about the most. So I wanted to talk about that here as I'm closing up. So I have a couple minutes left here over in Clubhouse before I hand over to my friend Dora Maria. So anyone has any thoughts or questions on AI, please let me know. If you have a YouTube channel, are you worried that people are using it to train large language models? So I'll go ahead and open the mic. And if not, I will hand it off to my friend Dora Maria.
Hey, Matt. Good morning. It's Trisha.
Good morning, Trisha. How are you?
I'm very good. There was an application that you spoke about maybe 2 weeks ago. I apologize. And I don't know if you brought it up again. It was an application that people were talking about utilizing to make logos with. And I don't know if you would remember just by me saying that, what that application was.
Yeah, there's a couple out there available. Honestly, I did one in ChatGPT for somebody, and I did this a few weeks ago. And the one limit was the wording was kind of a little messed up. But now with their update, I mean, you can go certainly do it there. If you're looking for, are you looking for ideas for a logo, or are you looking to actually just have it do the full thing for you? Because what I recommend, most
ideas,
times,
yeah.
I would start with ChatGPT. I know I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'll go back and look, and I'll let you know, and I'll send you a couple of them. But honestly, yeah, with ChatGPT, I would just go in there, and with their updates to DALL-E, they've done a pretty good job of doing them. So, but I can't think of the one right now, but I will find it and send it out to you for sure. You can go, if you go on, it might even have a link on there. So if you go on and click on that link at the top, in my AI tools there, I know there's a couple in my tools database there too, that you can pull from.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
Matt, thank you for what you do on the info, for updating us on the latest in AI. I experienced something last week that has me a little bit concerned. I use it on a regular basis, both for resources and for my school. I watched on Facebook last week a ad for ED. The characters in the ads were Oprah Winfrey and Will Smith. They were very I would say they were photorealistic,
Mhm.
and the voices were you thought that it was Oprah and you thought that
Yeah.
it was Will. The only way that I knew that it was not Oprah was excuse me, was that she has never talked about her husband, much less her husband who had ED and benefit from said product.
Right.
So and so it sparked a thought that, you know, at my age, I use it, so I knew that wasn't her. But as I think about others that may be in my season of life, they would have no way of knowing that that's AI
Absolutely.
and would be completely bamboozled. So on the policing side and the wrong use, and I actually put something in the comments on that to slap them on the head and tell them shame on them for using that to bamboozle
Yeah.
people. And so we know that was going to happen, but we this it just brought it to the attention that we are absolutely there right now. But I'm
Absolutely.
excited about the advances that we were making. I'm a little distraught, Matt, uh, due to the fact that apparently ChatGPT does not have enough data on people of color, especially when I ask it to generate something that I literally, and I shared this before, I literally have to put in, if I want a person of color in, give me an African American. And so I hope it catches up because I'm sure that while America may be mostly populated by others, that there's enough information within the world that we could find some equality and equity when making requests. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, and that's a good point because that is something the large language models struggle. I think on both sides. Gemini got in trouble kind of for the opposite, where people are asking for pictures of the founding fathers, and they're all showing up as people of color, and so they had to kind of stop that. So they kind of maybe over use that, but that is something that the just the information in general that the large language models continue to struggle with and continue to have to go through and do that. And I think that's why, again, going back to that those 5 points, and where they want you to get is to be able to have the systems itself kind of learn these things, understand that, and build because there's only they're trying to keep up, and now it's more people just putting information in and doing that. Also, there's a lot of human touch that has to be done right now to do that and find more information, and that's why they're cutting deals with different companies and different ways to do that. But it's a great point, just from a data standpoint. Going back to what you were saying here, I'm going to a couple minutes over, so I'll hand over to Maria. But I talked about 11 Labs, which I use now. If you get a couple hours of someone's voice, and obviously for someone like Will Smith or Oprah, there's plenty out there. You can make it where the voice is indistinguishable. You wouldn't be able to figure it out. We talk about this, so somebody could even take your voice, Pastor Jeff, and put enough in there, and then call somebody and say, "Hey, I'm in trouble. I need money. Send me money." And this has happened, especially with older generations that don't understand as much, aren't aware about the capabilities right now. So that's a great point too. I think both of them is something that people are aware of, and they're trying to figure out how to get there and struggle to that. And I think it's just going to be one of those things where we just kind of go up and up as people use it for nefarious ways and continue to do that, trying to offset that and figure out ways to stop them. So, but thank you. Both those points are great points and something that these companies are aware of and trying to work through. So, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Dora Maria. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I am doing great. I also wanted to